You believe you're free because you can choose what to buy. But what if your choices were already made for you? This isn't just about politics or economics, it's about control. Neoliberalism didn't just change policies, it changed how you think about yourself, your time, and your worth. You're told to hustle, to optimize, to market yourself like a product, and if you're exhausted, it's your fault. But most people can't even define the system they live in. That's not a coincidence. It's by design. In this video, we'll reveal how neoliberalism quietly took over without most of us noticing, how it failed, and what we can do instead. Let's pull it apart. You've heard the word. Politicians blame it. Activists chant it. Economists debate it. But ask 10 people what neoliberalism means, and you'll get 10 answers and one shrug. That confusion? It's not accidental. It's part of the strategy. Neoliberalism works best when no one can quite name it. As George Monbiot puts it, its anonymity is both a symptom and source of its power. You live inside the rules it built, yet you don't know they exist. It tells you markets are natural, competition is good, success is personal, failure also personal. It redefined citizens as consumers, democracy as deregulation, and freedom as the ability to choose between brands. And all of this grand rewrite of our shared reality, happened without your consent. That's not ideology, that's engineering. It's why you feel powerless when the economy tanks, why your work feels hollow, why every solution sounds like another product launch. But if we can't see the system, we can't fight it. So now we'll name it, then we'll break it, then we'll imagine something better. If this hits you like something you've always felt but never had the words for, subscribe. You're not alone in this, and the next part will show you how deep the design runs. Ready? Let's meet the architects, the economists and ideologies who promised a better world and built one that failed. From the mountaintops of Switzerland to the ruins of post-Soviet Russia, their blueprint shaped our reality. But what happens when the design breaks? Neoliberalism promised prosperity, growth, efficiency, and freedom. But behind the slogans, the numbers tell a different story, and the silence around them is no accident. Let's start with Russia. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Western economists rushed in with neoliberal blueprints: privatize, deregulate, liberalize. GDP collapsed by over 40%, life expectancy dropped, oligarchs replaced bureaucrats, and democracy became a shell. Freedom was promised, but it came with price tags and power vacuums. In Jamaica, the script repeated. The IMF imposed structural adjustment programs. Public goods were slashed. Local agriculture withered under a flood of subsidized U.S. imports. Rice fields died. So did local resilience. Jamaica's economy became a plantation. Its decisions outsourced to creditors in Washington. In the U.S., neoliberalism wore a friendlier mask. The promise was opportunity for all. What emerged was a two-speed economy. While productivity soared, wages flatlined, billionaires multiplied, middle America hollowed. Families worked longer hours to stay in place while Wall Street reaped the gains. Stiglitz makes it clear, this wasn't a bug in the system, it was the system. Deregulated finance became a new empire. Corporate consolidation throttled competition. Tax policy shifted burdens downward. Bankruptcy laws rewrote justice in favor of lenders, not citizens. Neoliberalism did not fail, it succeeded at making the rich richer. And what about us, ordinary people, citizens of democracies? George Monbiot offers the chilling diagnosis. Under neoliberalism, we stopped being citizens and became consumers. Every choice became a transaction. Your voice reduced to your wallet. You didn't vote for austerity, but you paid for it. You didn't choose to lose your union, your health care, or your housing, but the market decided you didn't deserve them. Neoliberalism doesn't collapse like a building. It corrodes like acid. Slow, invisible, systemic. It replaces social bonds with contracts. It turns crises into opportunities, not for recovery, but for privatization. Naomi Klein called it disaster capitalism. Stiglitz agrees. These weren't accidents of bad timing, but engineered vulnerabilities baked into the ideology. And the worst part? It's self-replicating. Austerity weakens public institutions. Weakened institutions can't serve the people. Then neoliberals point to their failure as proof government doesn't work. The cycle tightens in place after place. From post-Soviet economies to post-Katrina New Orleans, the same pattern repeats. Shock, sell-off, silence. What disappears isn't just wealth. It's trust, it's belonging, it's democracy. Neoliberalism claimed to be neutral, technocratic, and efficient. But its outcomes are anything but. They are moral, and they are political. The question now isn't, did it fail? The question is, who did it work for? And if you're not one of them, you were never supposed to win. In a world shaped by neoliberalism, markets aren't tools, they're gods. They don't serve us, we serve them. What began as a theory about economic efficiency became a belief system. Not a belief in capitalism, but in the market as the ultimate judge of truth, value, and even morality. This wasn't about freedom, it was about obedience. Neoliberalism didn't unleash markets, it rewired governments to work for them. Joseph Stiglitz says it clearly. Neoliberalism was never about free markets. It was always about rewriting the rules to concentrate power. Deregulation, privatization, and austerity were never neutral policies. They were political weapons, and they worked not to help everyone, but to protect the wealthiest few. Meanwhile, George Monbiot points out that markets have been disguised as forces of nature, like gravity or the weather. We're told they're neutral, scientific, beyond dispute. If you fall behind, it's your fault. You failed to compete. Your school didn't fail you. Your boss didn't exploit you. The market simply rendered its judgment. This ideology doesn't just rule our policies, it shapes our souls. Education becomes a product sold to students as customers. Healthcare becomes a service with premiums instead of rights. Human beings become resources managed like inventory. Success is not measured in meaning or justice, but in profit margins. And while we're told government must shrink, it hasn't. It's been retooled, not to protect workers or build democracy, but to secure property rights, enforce corporate contracts, and shield global capital from public will. Nowhere is this clearer than in Honduras. When Silicon Valley-backed libertarians launched ZEED zones, privatized microstates beyond national law, they claimed to be building freedom. But when Honduras's new democratic government tried to shut them down, the companies responded with lawsuits. Under international trade law, they demanded billions. The market wasn't being freed, it was being armed. This is the paradox. Neoliberalism says the markets should decide, but when democracy tries to change the rules, markets fight back, not with competition, but coercion. We live in a society programmed by markets. Not morality, not deliberation, not justice, just data, incentives, and cost-benefit equations. And in this world, everything is for sale, including the laws that govern it. If you've made it this far, you're already seeing through the illusion. You're not just surviving the system, you're studying it. Now's the time to go deeper. Hit that subscribe button. This channel is mapping the ghost code of neoliberalism, line by line. Let's keep going. Imagine a society where markets serve people, not the other way around. A world where democracy doesn't stop at the ballot box, but lives in the workplace, the classroom, and the boardroom. That's not utopia. That's what Joseph Stiglitz calls progressive capitalism, a serious, structured alternative to the neoliberal nightmare. At its core, this vision begins by reclaiming the idea of public goods, health, education, transportation, broadband. These aren't luxuries to be sold to the highest bidder. They're foundations of freedom, investments in human dignity. Stiglitz argues that by underfunding them, we've created inequality that's not only immoral, but economically stupid. Societies grow stronger when they build people up, not when they let them fall. Second, we need accountable macroeconomic policy. The current system lets billionaires shape monetary policy behind closed doors, while average citizens suffer under natural inflation or austerity. A better system would aim for full employment, not just stable prices. It would prioritize workers, not financial markets. It would treat recessions as public emergencies, not profit opportunities. Third, we must rebuild institutions for the public good. Neoliberalism hollowed out the state, turning regulatory bodies into lapdogs, but Stiglitz insists institutions can work when they're designed to be democratic, transparent, and resilient. Think of financial regulators who actually prevent crashes, antitrust agencies that break up monopolies, or tax systems that close loopholes instead of opening them. At the heart of this transformation lies a democracy-centered economy, One where power is distributed, not concentrated, where unions are strong, not criminalized, where corporations answer to people, not shareholders alone. Democracy doesn't just mean voting, it means having a real say in the decisions that shape your life. Monbiot sharpens this point. It's not enough to redistribute wealth, we must redistribute power. If money continues to buy influence, the game remains rigged. And as long as markets are treated as natural law instead of moral choices, democracy will remain hostage to capital. What does this look like in practice? It looks like worker cooperatives outcompeting extractive corporations. It looks like climate policy shaped by indigenous knowledge, not fossil fuel lobbies. It looks like childcare, healthcare, and elder care treated not as burdens, but as pillars of a flourishing society. None of this will happen by accident, but none of it is fantasy either. These are policy choices. They are within reach, if we demand them. If we want a just world, Monbiot writes, we can't just redistribute wealth, we must redistribute power and rewrite the rules that govern reality. The better society isn't a mystery, it's a blueprint, and it's already being drafted in community centers, cooperative startups, progressive think tanks, and the voices rising up all over the world saying, enough. Neoliberalism is a system, but so is solidarity, and it's time we built ours. Neoliberalism was never just an economic experiment. It was a reprogramming of the soul. It taught you that your worth is your wage, that your health is a commodity, that your future is a private risk, not a shared responsibility. But now you know better. You've seen how a nameless ideology reshaped your paycheck, rewrote your politics, and redefined your humanity. You've seen how its promises, growth, freedom, opportunity, masked a system of rigged rules and recursive inequality. And you've glimpsed a path beyond it, one built not on efficiency, but on dignity, not on domination, but on democracy. This isn't just about economic theory. It's about reclaiming your ability to choose without being told what choice means. It's about remembering that value is something we create together, not something sold back to us. The real revolution doesn't start in a manifesto. It starts in your awareness, in what you see and what you refuse to unsee. If this made you uncomfortable, good, that means it's working. Because the next question is harder. What if the market isn't just around you, but inside you? What if even your thoughts have been branded? To go deeper, watch our next video, The Paradox of Thoughtless Consciousness, and find out what happens when your inner voice speaks in the language of your oppressor. Hit subscribe, because unlearning starts now.